Our next speaker up here is Frank Mann. He's the Vice President of the Southeastern Massachusetts Pine Barrens Alliance. He's a member of the Plymouth Planning Board, a former reporter for the Old Colony Memorial, and a member of the Plymouth Charter Commission. Please welcome Frank Mann.
Trying to use modern technology here, a little mini teleprompter. First of all, I want to say I'm upset. Ice cream, pizza, Senator Pacheco, come on, upstage me a bit. Anyway, good afternoon. Let's see if this starts. 5, 4, 3, 2, teleprompter. Good afternoon. When Meg Sheehan first asked me to give a speech at this event, I said, sure, I acted nonchalant. Yeah, no problem, of course. But I was a bit concerned for serious reasons. The basic reason was that I didn't think my words could possibly come close to matching the reality, the painful reality on the ground, so to speak, what we're dealing with here. What could I say that could match the anguish that we naturally feel when we see all our beautiful nature, our hills thickly covered with trees, covered with birds and butterflies, turtles, rare turtles, rabbits, and snakes, and you see that hill being taken down, bulldozed into oblivion, simply to enrich a few. I thought maybe I could be specific. Maybe I could be specific about the loss. The number of species taken overwhelm you with statistics. I thought maybe I could underline how that hill and those creatures were part of a rare ecoregion, one that is being broken into pieces, that is being starved of water, that is being strangled and buried under cinder block buildings. But really, nothing that I can say would equal the bleakness of this reality, what we're all dealing with. We are literally being robbed of our future in exchange for a few temporary jobs, for tax revenue that will have to be spent on more roads, more pipes, infrastructure, policemen. We're on a merry-go-round of development for its own sake, which leads to more infrastructure and maintenance, and of course, more development to pay for the last round of development. So instead of flowery rhetoric, how about a little straight talk about what you can do, what many of you may be doing already, besides moan and groan and thrash about, whine and complain. Let's get off the merry-go-round. What can everyone do? What actions can we take? Specific actions to prevent what you know is happening and all too often happening again. First of all, not to preach, but we need to take responsibility. We need to ask ourselves what is going on at our place. And by place, I don't mean the big places. I don't mean the town or the county, the ecoregion, even the world. You can make those pretty speeches. I mean our address, your home. Is there solar on your roof? What kind of car are you driving? How many cases of plastic bottled water do you have stashed in the back room by the washing machine? Where are you living? How did your neighborhood or your home or your development, how did that actually come to be? Now, I'm a member now of the Plymouth Planning Board, Spent a long time on the outside, now I'm on the inside. And I had the experience recently where the residents of a planned community came to a meeting to ask questions about the expansion of their development. They were concerned that there'd be too much noise. They were concerned there'd be too much traffic. Some even mentioned that the expansion might be bad for the environment. What do you know? But did they ask those questions before they moved into that neighborhood and bought their own homes? No. Did you ask those questions before you moved into your place? Probably not. Start asking those questions. In fact, start demanding that besides a fireplace, game room, two-car garage, what you want in a home or apartment building is something that was built with the local environment in mind, with truly native species on the grounds, with wildlife corridors that connect through your backyard. Okay, so you didn't ask those questions. Start asking them now. If you hear about a new development or a plan to take down another hill for a solar array, go to that meeting. Demand that your town insist on higher standards, that it draw a line in the sand. How many of you have been to an actual planning board meeting? That's where developers of all kinds, small and large, ask the town to say yes to all sorts of projects that are going to eventually have an effect on you. In my limited experience on the planning board and covering as a newspaper reporter, I've never seen developers, very few of them, that are interested really in what's good for the future or the land or for you. They simply want to make the most money they can. So they don't offer those things. They don't offer in their first plan solar on the rooftop or any special water conservation measures, or take care what kind of plants they prettify their development with. If there's a hill in their way, no problem. They'll knock it down, sell the sand, pave it over. Your planning board and other town officials should be looking out for you and asking those questions, but don't count on it. You've got to go there yourself and ask why they and the developers are not doing more. And it doesn't matter if there's a regulation saying they could do this or that they don't have to do that. It's not what they can do, it's what should they do. And yes, it's what you should do as well. What should you do? More. What more can you do? There's plenty more you can do. First off, of course, this is probably a good group, but I'd say first off, you have to vote. And voting is not just a matter of showing up and pulling the lever, it's understanding what the people you're voting for will do if elected. I live in Plymouth, so I really shouldn't be telling the people of Wareham who to vote for, but maybe I can tell you who not to vote for.
Yeah.
How about 90% of the people presently in office in this town? A little while ago, you made it clear that your planning board and your select board were clueless when it came to what the residents wanted for the town's future. Over 80% showed up to an open town meeting and said no to no-nos. That same block of voters could change this town permanently. How about running for office? You don't have to know the regulations. You can learn on the job. What's important is that you ask the right questions. Like to developers, is this the best you can do?
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but they just declared a climate emergency in Plymouth. Like a lot of other towns in the Commonwealth and across the country. The select board approved it. I'm a bit cynical about why they did it. But now that they have, we can ask everyone how their plan, big or small, can address climate change.